Ok. Vamos a ver un poquito de esto. La realidad. A mí me pueden decir lo que quieran de Xbox. Me pueden hablar mal de Xbox. Ah, Xbox es una mierda. Y yo, la consola es una mierda. Ah, Play es mejor. Dile lo que tú quieras. ¿Te gusta más? Play, excelente. Yo puedo pensar que tú no sabes por qué. Porque mira, todos estos juegos de Xbox vienen para Game Pass, en PC Game Pass. Y mientras tú estás peleando y debatiendo cuál es la mejor consola, que las dos son unas porquerías, al final del día, la real, yo estoy aquí en PC, disfrutando, tomándome una limonadita, y tú estás ahí peleando por las consolas que va de hoy. Nintendo llegó tarde a la guerra de consolas y vino y que a subir los precios y todo. Fronteando, yo tengo lo más duro. Mira, veo que tú estás fronteando en ese showcase. Si tú acabas de llegar y tarde, ahora es que tú vas a empezar a hacer y que juego HD, a ver si te quedan bien. Nada, vamos así más o menos se ve la guerra de consolas, para que tengan una idea. Vamos a ver un poquito de esto, de Doom. A ver qué hay. Que esto viene para Game Pass, by the way. Ok.
When I went into my hands-on with Doom the Dark Ages,
yo no jugara
I was
esto,
prepared for intense violence
me siento a ver los
and high-volume
speedrun y los
heavy metal,
gameplays.
but what I didn't count on was such an exhilarating amount of demon-killing variety. By the end of my 2-hour demo, I'd used a saw-toothed shield to slice through demons like it was Beelzebub's Beyblade, stomped around a war-ravaged city as a colossal mecha slayer,
Ok, no está mal.
and even brought a snarling cyber demon to an explosive end by breathing fire directly down its throat with my faithful dragon steed. Talk about a heartwarming moment. Every aspect of it looked and felt incredible.
En verdad se
It
ve
may take place
diferente
in the dark ages of the
al
Doom
primer Doom que yo
timeline,
jugué, para que
but the
tengan
Slayer's
idea.
latest Slaughterfest
Yo jugué
might
el
well
primer Doom.
represent the peak of the series' modern era. Cue the head-crushing guitar riff.
Nice. Me gusta cómo se ve. Me gusta cómo se ve bien. Lo que he
Let's
visto
start
hasta ahora
with the
se ve
most
nice.
crucial new change, the shield. While 2016's Doom was focused on run and gun, and 2020's Doom Eternal evolved into jump and shoot, the core combat principle of Doom the Dark Ages is to stand and fight. That's not to say I wasn't
El mejor
immediately
approach.
strafing through the
En el otro era correr. El otro era brincar. Este es, papi, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Vamos para donde es él. Vamos a darle.
strife as I met each new wave of
Lo que
Satan's
debería hacer.
soldiers, but the Doomslayer's new shield allowed me to hold my ground and block or parry enemy attacks,
Ok.
and even
Zumba.
deflect projectiles back at them whenever I managed to nail the timing. When it comes to which enemy attacks can be deflected and which can't, it's basically traffic light rules. Red means stop
Está
and
bueno,
green
no
means
chiste.
go. Or for Star Wars fans, red is bad and green is good.
Zumba.
The point is, you must constantly stay on the move to weave your way through the red waves of enemy fire, but the moment you see a green burst, you need to dash towards the danger in order to
Nice.
perfectly bat back everything from searing bolts of energy fired by enemy archers
Zumba.
to the deadly
Green is
volleys
good,
launched by
green
the
is
hulking
good.
hell tanks.
Tiene green. Nice. Diablo, ese es
It
chill.
introduces a welcome new test of your timing and positioning on top of the already high-intensity gunplay,
Nice.
which has also been revitalized by an awe-inspiring arsenal that includes a machine gun that crushes skulls and spits out shards of bone, and just might be the most heavy metal weapon ever conceived. But the shield
¿Vieron esa machingo?
isn't there simply to
esqueleto.
block and deflect. It can also
What?
bear the brunt of a powerful lunging bash that instantly closes the distance between you and your
Mira que tú
target.
estás hablando y tú
And you
presentado.
can even rev up its spinning
Mirando nada más.
saw-toothed edge like a chainsaw and hurl it.
Uf,
The
eso
shield will
boss.
pinball through crowds of weaker enemies like the imps, or it can be lodged straight into the sternums of the beefier imp walkers to stun lock them in place while you mop up the lesser minions around them.
Ahí viene verde. Ahí nos fuimos. Bye. Wow. Incredible. Perdonen los anuncios como siempre, corillo.
The
Nosotros somos del corillo de ustedes. Nosotros no somos millas para el
Shield can
para el
also work
premium.
in tandem with your bulging bag
Up.
of boomsticks in some incredibly satisfying
Okay.
ways. Come up against a platoon of soldiers marching
Se ve
behind
bien,
seemingly impenetrable steel
obviamente.
shields of their own. Just pump a few super shotgun rounds into their metal mobile cover to heat it up until
Quiero ver
it's
la gente
visibly
haciendo
molten,
speedrun de esto como si el juego
before
fuera una
frisbeeing
mierda.
your shield straight at them to ignite the entire group
fácil.
and shower yourself invaluable armor pickups from the resulting explosion. The Dark Ages shield is perhaps the most devastating interpretation of the phrase "the best offense is a good defense," and it makes the new Doom feel like the greatest unofficial Captain America game ever made.
Let's
Only
chill,
instead
meten.
of fighting an army of Nazis, you're battling the most evil villains that hell has to offer, which I suppose are both one and the same. At any rate, no sooner had I settled into the Dark Ages' sensational new shield-wielding combat system than I was suddenly whisked into the cockpit of a massive mecha slayer to
para los
take
que les
on the
gusta
tallest
mecha.
terrors to ever
Yo soy
emerge
fan,
from
pero
a
no tan
hell
fan de los mecha.
These Atlan assault mechs have only been teased in the past.
Lo más mecha que a mí me ha gustado se llama Evangelion y Code Geass. Eso es lo más mecha que me ha gustado.
Doom games. But in the Dark Ages, they're finally pilotable, and I was absolutely thrilled to get behind the controls of one of these green-helmed Goliaths in order to raise some hell. Or should I say, raise some hell, as I stomped out tiny tanks and crashed through bridges lined with troops, on my way to going toe to towering toe with each Titan demon trying to take me down. Yes, Doom the Dark Ages takes the series' signature ultra-violence and literally elevates it into kaiju-sized carnage. Its Atlan combat is simple in setup, but seriously satisfying in execution. As you repeatedly pump the right trigger to unleash combos with a pair of school bus-sized fists, with each successful blow you land filling up a special meter consisting of two halves. Fill it halfway and you can deliver a powerful stomp that sends a shockwave through the earth below and opens up cracks of damaging lava that stagger your opponent. Fill it completely and you can deal a devastating finishing move to force Lucifer's Leviathans to
Gracias
go
al finishing move estoy esperando.
or more specifically in freshly
le rompió todo el brazo a
pieces.
ese. A rayo. Diantre.
If you like your 50-story tall fisticuffs with a side order of
Una
gargantuan
pistola
guns, then
pa'l
fear
gigante.
not.
That's
Because
a-
midway through the
that's a
level,
too
a whopper of
much.
a weapon drop gave my mech access to a machine gun so large it could use an aeroplane hangar for a holster.
What the fucking shit?
Performing perfect dodges on incoming enemy attacks powers up both barrels of this not-so-mini gun,
Ya atrás que
and I
está
was soon
mecha con un
blasting
machine
gloriously
gun.
gory chunks of flesh off each Titan's torso that showered onto the soldiers below. You don't normally see this much raining blood without buying a ticket to a Slayer concert and sticking around for the encore. Unfortunately, I was only given the smallest taste of these supersized shootouts, since my hands-on quickly switched tracks from Godzilla to Game of Thrones as I slipped out of the Atlan's cockpit and into the saddle of a cybernetic dragon, complete with twin cannons and a pair of dazzling laser wings. Soaring through the skies above a humongous holy city, I took the fight to a series of Hellcarrier airships, again performing perfect dodges to power up my attacks, to demolish the artillery along their sides and the deadly assault cannons atop their hulls. With each airship's defenses disabled, I was then able to swoop down to its exposed landing zone, leap off my dragon to briefly blast through Hades' hordes on the flight deck, before shield bashing into its central power core and forcing the whole thing to erupt like a hell-spawned Hindenburg, as I flew to safety aboard my scaly skybound steed.
This is your brain when you're strong in focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
Both the Atlan and Cyber Dragon sections proved
Este juego va a ser como un Warhammer. Para mí. O sea, ahí por lo que veo. Es como que el story, by the way, de Warhammer, es un cliffhanger tras del otro. Ahí, tú estás todo el tiempo como que, damn, ¿sabes?
Be propulsive
Realmente está
palette punches
exagerado.
rich with spectacle, but I was itching for more of that bitchin' shield and shoot 'em up action. Thankfully, the Slayer was soon brought back down to Earth to unleash further terror on terra firma,
el
as
visual
my
también.
hands-on finished with a taste of one of Doom the Dark Ages' sprawling sandbox levels. While the previous gameplay stretches were dynamic but somewhat directed action set pieces, this bumper battlefield level dubbed The Siege gave me the freedom to tackle its objectives in any order and progress through it entirely at my own pace. Thus, in between exhilarating encounters with waves of heavily armored
Si algo a mí me gusta de estos juegos es que tú los juegas a tu pacing. Ya los juegos online son entretenidos, los Battle Pass son entretenidos, pero llega un momento que es como que hay tantos juegos online para grindear que se han vuelto Yo diría que algo, una copia del otro, así de sencillo. Puedes jugar uno que te vas para el otro y sabes, pero no mío. Mi opinión.
And shield-based slugfests with super heavy cyber demons. I was also able to scour the landscape in all directions for gold.
Cuando me refiero a online, multiplayer gaming.
Collectible toys.
Porque Elden Ring es online.
And even brand new guns to add to my growing arsenal of demon destroyers. This included the Reaver Chain Shot, which delivered powerful charged up attacks that basically allowed me to fire a cannonball to instantly
La variedad de weapons.
before attracting it on a chain and firing it again to crush their minion mate beside them. Kind of like a chain chomp, but not nearly as adorable. The expanded map also provided plenty of nooks and crannies to hunt through for health and armor pickups, including melee ammo for the Slayer's new flail and electrified gauntlet attacks. That's right, as if the Slayer wasn't already badass enough, he now manually reloads his punches like he's Henry Cavill in the bathroom brawl scene from Mission Impossible Fallout.
Okay.
The overall impression I got from the Dark Ages Siege map is that, although it's large in size, it's incredibly dense with breathtaking discoveries and diverse encounters. Some open field fights locked mini-bosses behind a morale meter, keeping them immune to my attacks until I'd hustle to take out a few dozen of their
Danos material para entretenernos. Okay.
Other caves I explored featured almost no combat at all, instead challenging me to use my shield for environmental puzzle solving, either as a grappling hook to launch me to otherwise unreachable areas, or a tool to manipulate the controls of a variety of arcane machines. There were wonderful surprises almost everywhere I looked, but also some not so wonderful ones. Like this giant tentacle that suddenly emerged from the ground beneath my feet in a swamp area and turned me from unstoppable beast to recently deceased in an instant.
Combinamos ingredientes únicos
Ya
para
leí este video, dos anuncios.
como las pastas Gilbertini, Tuscan y Miri.
No.
With that, my time in the Slayer's combat boots was up, and what a brief but utterly brilliant ride it had been. If this small taste is anything to go by, then I'm pretty sure that the only reason id Software is calling this one Doom the Dark Ages is because the title of The Ultimate Doom was already taken 3 decades ago. From its satisfying shield-based combat shake-up and enticing sandbox-level structures, to its Pacific Rim-rocking skyscraper-sized beatdowns and its dazzling dragon-riding dogfights, the team behind Doom the Dark Ages is seemingly throwing everything but Hell's Kitchen sink into making this the biggest and best campaign seen to date in the sandbox shooter series.
Okay.
But it's also set to be the most accessible. If you've ever wanted in on the wanton demon destruction but have previously been too intimidated to try, Doom the Dark Ages looks to have you covered. Not only is there an expanded number of difficulty settings to choose.
Me había dado cuenta de ella ahorita, pero no me di cuenta que está mirando mal. La miré pero me la mirara bien, me la mirando mal.
Aspiring Slayer to the absolutely mental ultra nightmare, but there are also tools to tweak almost every aspect of the experience. That includes sliders to adjust everything from parry timing windows to the damage dealt from each attack and the overall speed of the action. Whether you want it to be a friction-free power trip or a synapse-straining punishment, Doom the Dark Ages seems to have the flexibility to allow any level of player to become a god-tier Slayer.
Está nice.
What's more, since it's a prequel to the 2016 reboot, you can go in completely fresh even if you have NFI what a BFG is.
Okay.
Doom the Dark Ages is set to arrive on PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS on May 15th. Until then, if you want a daily dose of Doom, you can just spend a few minutes scrolling through social media.
Every day's just a little...
So, prácticamente estamos hablando que eso es ya mismo. En nada, un mes. Ok, tenemos material. Corillo, no olvides que me puedes seguir en Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, tutoriales para que vean todo lo que estamos haciendo y sean parte del journey. Vamos a ir viendo un par de gameplay, pero aquí hay un par de cositas. Mire que es un review de Last of Us. Ya están anunciando que Last of Us Season 3.